Babes, we are back.
Finally!
Yes, we are back. Welcome back, babes. If you're new here, hello. And if you're a returning listener, hey, babes.
It has felt like, honestly, an absolute eternity since we've been on the mics.
Literally an eternity.
Yeah.
Grab a blanket, lock your doors, sage your living room, because the energy today is absolutely chaotic.
Oh, the levels of delusion, the sheer psychological torment we have to unpack today. It requires us to be, like, fully, completely present.
Absolutely. Boy, before we get into literally anything else, we have to give a massive hyped-up shout-out to LD.
Yes.
LD slid into the DMs and asked us to cover this show. And, babes, you already know the drill. You ask, and you shall receive. We got you, babe.
You practically demanded it. And I respect that level of aggressive enthusiasm. It's exactly the energy needed to survive the town we're about to discuss.
Completely. And, oh, also, Snark, a quick update on the merch. I know everyone is asking. As soon as the merch gets to us, let us know, and we will send it your way.
Yep.
And I mean it. I am, like, vibrating with impatience. I am refreshing the tracking page every 5 seconds. I can feel it in my bones. It's arriving any second now.
Well, eventually.
Stop.
Low key, we're not fully sure on the ETA. Logistics are, a nightmare right now.
Yeah.
But babes, we are tracking. It will exist eventually.
You are ruining my manifestation. It's coming.
But, okay, we need to pivot because we really need to talk about horror shows for a minute.
We do.
Like, babes, we don't even know if this show counts as horror or, like, paranormal or what, but whatever genre this is, these writers have mastered it. This show is so good.
Actively defies categorization.
I am fully obsessed. I'm emotionally invested. I'm looking sideways at trees when I walk my dog.
Well, I mean, I tried to analytically define it, and I just failed.
Yeah.
Is it sci-fi? Paranormal horror? Some psychological trap? I don't know. I'm just fully committed to the confusion. That is the exact energy we need. Because it leads me to, like, the ultimate late-night spiral question. And I need you to be completely honest with me. Do we actually believe in ghosts and spirits? Discuss.
See, my brain immediately wants to reject the premise based on sheer logic, physics, the burden of proof.
Right.
But there was this one time when I was a kid, I vividly remember lying in bed. The house was dead silent.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And suddenly, there was this extremely distinct, heavy scratching noise coming from exactly inside my closet.
Stop.
And it wasn't just a noise. It was followed by a shadow creeping out from under the closet door that absolutely did not align with the angle of the streetlight.
Oh, my gosh. My entire body just went cold. What did you do?
I froze. At that exact moment, I was a full 100% believer. I was trembling, trying to map out the physics of the shadow, and it made zero sense. It felt completely, viscerally real.
I would have cried.
But as I got older, logic took over. The belief faded. I convinced myself it was like a raccoon in the wall and a bizarre optical illusion from a passing car.
See, I vehemently disagree with that rationalization.
You rationalize to survive.
No, you cannot logic away the supernatural. The vibes are real. Negative energy is a real, tangible thing that you can feel. But here is the ironic part. When I was younger, my mom was completely, absolutely convinced that a ghost lived in our house.
Really? Like an active haunting?
Yes. She would talk about it all the time. She'd point out cold spots, blame missing keys on the ghost. She acted like we literally had a supernatural roommate who just didn't pay rent.
Wow.
And honestly, that stressed me out so much that it had the exact opposite effect on me.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I didn't become a believer. I became a militant skeptic.
Yeah.
I just flat out refuse to believe in ghosts now as a pure coping mechanism. My brain just says, nope, absolutely not. It's just the wind.
That's actually fascinating. It's the universal childhood terror of weird night noises, but you chose outright denial as a psychological survival tactic.
Exactly.
It's highly effective, until the floorboards actually creak.
Okay, do not do that to me. I am protecting my peace through delusion. And babes, speaking of protecting peace, if you hear a very light hum in the background right now,
Which you probably do.
that's the Ninja Slush. Because yes, babes, the frozen April is back.
The only thing better than spiraling into paranormal confusion is doing it with frozen liquid courage.
Oh my gosh, let me take a sip.
Hmm.
That is so delicious. Okay, my anxiety is slightly spooked, my brain is totally activated, and I am so ready to talk trash. Let's get into the recap, because babes, this was the day of reckoning.
We need to set the stage for the Snark Squad because we are picking up exactly where last season left off. There's no time jump, just straight back into the nightmare.
Literally the exact same afternoon.
Yeah.
And we have to start in the woods. Babes, Jim getting his throat slit.
Yeah, that was...
R.I.P. Jim.
Yeah.
I was physically screaming at my television.
Yeah.
I had to pause it and walk around my apartment.
It is a devastating structural choice by the writers. Jim has always been the engineer, the guy who thought he could fix the unfixable.
And he gets taken out by the man in yellow, no less.
The absolute audacity of the man in yellow. The thing that fascinates me most is how incredibly casual he treats murder. He just casually slices Jim open like he's opening a letter.
So casual.
And then he turns to Julie. And his exact phrasing here is what we need to dissect. He says to her, "We have to stop meeting like this," and asks, "When did you come from this time?"
Wait, I got full body chills when he said that. It completely confirms our hot take.
Yeah.
Julie is storywalking.
Precisely.
She is literally time traveling.
Yeah.
And I was spiraling over the tragedy of it. She is standing right there screaming, but she can't do a single thing to stop it. She is a ghost in her own timeline.
Because as the man in yellow explicitly tells her, there is no way to change a story once it's been told. But think about the implications. By saying, "When did you come from?" it implies he retains his memories across timelines.
He remembers her.
Yes. And he doesn't even view her as a threat. He treats her like a mildly amusing guest wandering onto his stage. He knows she can't interfere.
He is so deeply evil. He literally brags to Jim as Jim is bleeding out on the dirt, saying what comes next is his favorite part. Who says that to a dying father?
And then he just casually digs up a suitcase.
Yes, the suitcase. Babes, I gasped at the fashion continuity. That is the exact same piece of luggage Tabitha found in the tunnels, the one with the vintage women's clothes.
It is an incredible piece of narrative continuity. It defies linear time.
We will definitely get to the clothes and the shape-shifting later, because, babes, we have to transition to the cave. Fatima giving birth to the monster Smiley.
Arguably the cruelest bait and switch this narrative has ever pulled.
I am unwell. I need to lie down just thinking about it. I have to emotionally defend Fatima here. That scene where she is breaking down in the shower.
Heartbreaking.
Her body was completely violated. She screamed at everyone, "I told all of you that there was something inside me," and no one listened. They gaslit her.
It's a masterful, horrific portrayal of medical gaslighting. The horror isn't just the monster, it's the fact that her community failed her.
Yes. The physical trauma she is carrying, trying to wash that supernatural grime off her. She was right the entire time, and her reward is unimaginable trauma.
But let's look at the ripple effect this has on Boyd, because Boyd realizes that their one single victory-killing Smiley is completely undone. He watched the baby grow in the shadows and flash that exact same smile.
The way Boyd explained it to the group. His voice was breaking. He was stuttering. He is completely, totally falling apart.
Because the realization is that the game is rigged. Boyd has always been the pillar of hope. Seeing Smiley reborn makes him realize they have been playing checkers while the town is playing three-dimensional chess.
It invalidates everything.
Which leads to arguably the bleakest moment. Boyd sitting alone counting the bullets.
I was crying over this. I was fully weeping. He is literally doing inventory to make sure everyone has the option to unalive themselves before the monsters get them.
Yeah.
And then his breakdown with Ellis when he just says, "I can't do it anymore." My heart shattered. And to make it worse, you have Acosta walking around running her mouth.
She has the absolute audacity to call Boyd a monster.
Oh my gosh. Do not even get me started on Acosta. I am throwing absolute shade at this woman. She's been in this terror town for, what, 5 minutes?
Yeah.
2 days max. And she thinks she has everything figured out.
It is analytically baffling. She witnesses Boyd torture Elgin to find out where Fatima is. Which, yes, is extreme, but she completely fails to read the room.
Exactly. Donna and Christy were letting it happen.
Right. If you drop into a hostile environment and the established leaders are taking extreme measures, a logical person takes a step back and asks why. They don't immediately start policing the situation based on suburban morality.
It's like trying to give out a speeding ticket at the Indy 500. And she is hypocritically playing the morality card when she literally shot and killed someone herself.
Her own partner.
She said it was an accident, but babe, you'd be in prison for manslaughter in the real world. You don't get to judge Boyd. But wait, speaking of Elgin being tortured, we have to talk about the WTF moment.
Elgin getting his eye gouged out by Sarah with a screwdriver.
I was literally watching from behind my hands, peeking through my fingers. The blood everywhere, and Christy having to stitch it up with zero anesthetic. He looks like Slaw from the Goonies now.
The visual is horrifying, but it ties into a broader pattern. Remember Jade's hallucination of a one-eyed man in the forest? It suggests the town repeats these patterns in cycles. As long as the cycle continues, Someone is going to lose an eye. It's unavoidable mathematics.
Which perfectly brings us to the biggest delusion in town, Tabitha and Jade. Because Jade is finally putting the puzzle pieces together. They are literally the reincarnations of Christopher and Miranda.
The evidence is indisputable.
They're stuck in a century-long loop trying to save the dead Nkui children.
Jade grounds it in thermodynamics. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. In this town, souls are the energy, and the physical proof is the matching bracelets. It follows their souls across lifetimes.
And Tabitha's reaction, she just shakes her head and goes, "No, I just can't." I was yelling at the screen, "Girl, look at the facts. Stop being in denial."
I have to defend Tabitha analytically here. Think about her lived experience. This town is designed to psychologically manipulate its victims.
I don't know, but still.
It tricked Sarah into murder. It tricked Elgin. For Tabitha to suddenly accept she's a reincarnated savior based on a bracelet is a massive leap. She is entirely valid for not trusting this info, though I will concede Jade is carrying the brain cells right now.
Fine, it's a trauma response.
Okay.
But she needs to snap out of it because her kids are home alone in a haunted kitchen.
Yeah, that kitchen scene.
Julie and Ethan are waiting for Jim, having no idea he is dead. And Ethan. Babes, he sent shivers down my spine. He's so desensitized, he just asks, "Is Dad dead?" With zero emotion.
He's a child whose entire worldview has been rewritten by trauma. He has normalized extreme horror.
But the kitchen poltergeist activity right after, cabinet slamming, food flying, is this the town tormenting them, or is Jim's ghost trying to contact them? Because Thomas reached out through the phone.
It's a compelling correlation. But consider the alternative. What if it isn't a ghost at all? What if it is a future story-walking version of Julie?
Wait, what?
Think about it. What if future Julie is out of phase with time, violently trying to warn her past self about Jim's death? But because she can't change the story, her desperate interactions just look like slamming cabinets. She can't be seen or heard.
Okay, that is infinitely more terrifying than a ghost. Screaming into a void? No, thank you. But not as terrifying as the car crash.
The crash into the sheriff's station.
A pastor has a seizure at the wheel, and his innocent daughter, Sophia, is with him.
I am going to state this clearly. Sophia was highly suspicious from the jump.
Her vibes were foul.
Analytically, she doesn't fit the profile of a trauma victim. She acts way too calm. She starts quoting Bible verses. And watch her eyes when Kenny explains the talismans. She isn't crying. She is taking intense, calculated mental notes.
Yes.
It was the quiet calculation of an apex predator.
And the massive reveal at the end proves it. The flashback of the man in yellow pulling Sophia's clothes from the suitcase, transforming into her, and waking up the pastor just to kill him.
Intercutting the innocent Sophia with his grotesque transformation was brilliant.
I lost it over the final line. He says, "This is when they tear themselves apart." The wolf is literally in sheep's clothing. He's inside the walls.
Which perfectly transitions us into segment 1, fear or strategy. Are these characters driven by panic or actual logic? Let's start with Boyd counting the bullets.
I'm coming at this emotionally. Boyd counting bullets is the definition of giving up. He has lost all hope. He is spiraling into pure panic. You don't inventory mass suicide unless your soul is completely crushed. There is no strategy there. It is just dark defeat.
I hear your emotional read, but I'm going to analyze this with complete sarcasm because in this specific environment, it is a morbidly logical strategy. Look at the variables. The monsters revive. They have no weaknesses. The town punishes success. If you are trapped in an unwinnable game, the only strategic move is to control your own exit.
But it's so grim.
It is. But by counting bullets, Boyd ensures the townspeople retain their final shred of agency. They get to choose a quick end rather than being torn to pieces. It's ultimate resource management.
I hate how much sense that makes. It's stressing me out. Okay, what about Tabitha, keeping the reincarnation secret? Is she letting fear paralyze her? Or is it smart?
Again, I argue for strategy. The town is a tinderbox. If Tabitha announces none of their lives are real, she would incite an immediate mass panic.
True, people would riot.
Exactly. By keeping it quiet, she is strategically avoiding spreading existential dread. It's a calculated delay.
I guess. But they need to communicate. Which brings us to segment 2. Trust no one. Who do you align with and who is suspicious? We have to drag Kenny right now.
Kenny's behavior is profoundly problematic. He is way too trusting of Sophia. He basically handed her the town's entire security manual.
He gave the Wi-Fi password to the devil. He just handed the man in yellow the blueprints. And this leads me to a dramatic admission. Snark Squad, I hate saying this out loud, but Randall might actually be right.
The resident antagonist. Go on.
Yes. Randall has been saying people are planted, that there are moles, and now there is a mole.
Yeah.
Sophia, the town is going to tear itself apart just like the man in yellow wants, because people like Kenny blindly trust newcomers. Randall's paranoia is suddenly the most logical stance.
It's a fascinating sociodynamic collapse, but honestly, put yourself in the clinic. Would you have clocked Sophia's fake innocence?
Absolutely, 100%. You don't just wake up from a high-speed car crash, uninjured, and start calmly reciting scripture. I would have put a talisman on her forehead.
See, I disagree. It is easy to say that from the couch. She played the traumatized religious girl perfectly. A teenager leaning into her faith after near death is plausible. And the man in yellow tailored that persona to offer Kenny the exact hope he was desperate for. It was a masterclass in manipulation.
Ugh, so twisted. Which brings us to segment 3. If we were trapped here. Snark Squad, what is your survival plan?
I eagerly anticipate hearing your entirely vibe-based strategy.
Okay, do not judge me. My plan is emotional and totally valid. The second I realize we are trapped, I am moving into Colony House.
Really?
Yes, there are more people. Safety in numbers. I cannot sit in a quiet house waiting for tapping on the window, but I am refusing to go near that basement. Board it up, and I am aligning myself exclusively with Donna.
Donna? A bold choice.
It's the only choice.
Yeah.
She handles chaos like a boss. She doesn't coddle anyone. I am hiding directly behind Donna and letting her manage the bad vibes.
Oh.
What is your analytical plan?
My survival plan centers entirely on avoiding Acosta at all costs.
No, absolutely.
She is a walking liability. My main objective would be to study the talismans, what are the runes, and furthermore, I would be interrogating Victor relentlessly.
Perfecto.
He knows infinitely more than he communicates. I would trade peaches for information and map the history of the town.
Speaking of Victor, we have to shout out the one wholesome moment.
Yeah.
Victor dragging his twin bed to be roommates with his dad, Henry. It was so cute.
It was a brief, necessary reprieve from the misery, yes.
Okay, well, let's get into segment 4. Snark Squad Paranormal Theories. We are throwing out wild explanations.
Yeah.
And babes, Jay, break down the math for us.
I will gladly break down the math. Theory 1 focuses entirely on the number 47. Kenny confirms there are exactly 47 people alive in town.
Snark Squad, listen to this.
In Season 1, Tabitha sees dates in the tower, 1931 and 1978. The difference is exactly 47 years. The cycles run on a 47-year loop. Father Kotry stated the Bible has 73 books and wondered if they were the unwritten 74th book.
And babes, what is 74 backwards?
It is 47.
I'm getting chills. What does it mean?
The theory posits the town requires equilibrium. The man in yellow waited for the population to hit 47. He orchestrated Jim's death specifically to make room for Sophia, keeping the population at 47.
It's an algorithm of suffering.
Yeah.
Okay, theory 2, the author of the story. The man in yellow isn't just a monster, he's the literal author.
He says there's no way to change his story.
Yes, I think they are literally trapped in a book. He treats them like ink on a page.
If he is literally the author, the townspeople are fictional characters robbed of free will. It explains his absolute delight in their suffering. It's just dramatic tension to him. He's enjoying his writing process.
He makes him so much scarier, he's drafting them. Okay, theory 3. The ghost of Jim versus out-of-phase Julie. I emotionally argue Jim's energy transferred into the house to protect his family as a poltergeist.
And I must push back. The show established Julie as a story walker. What if the kitchen activity is future Julie, violently trying to warn them, but she can only manipulate objects for brief seconds?
But Julie was so calm when Ethan asked if Dad was dead. If it was her from the future, she'd be throwing plates at the wall, not just knocking over a pot.
Frustration manifests in wildly destructive ways when you are stripped of your voice. Knocking over dinner might be all she can manage physically across timelines.
We are going to disagree, because my heart says it's Jim protecting his babies.
We shall see whose hypothesis proves correct. The town proves everyone wrong eventually.
It really does. And babes, that brings us to the end of our recap. Thank you to the Snark Squad for hanging out, drinking slushies, and surviving this chaotic breakdown.
Your dedication to the madness is deeply appreciated. Please share the podcast with a friend, drop a rating, and leave a review.
Do it for the Snark Squad. Like babes, we started this questioning ghosts based on a shadow in a closet and ended up fully spiraling into a survival mode plan for a terror town. Terrifying, but so fun.
We covered an immense amount of ground, but I want to leave you with a final, highly provocative thought. Jade realized the monsters were originally humans who sacrificed their children for immortality.
Okay, I am listening.
The real question is, who is next to make that deal? Acosta screamed at Boyd, "You people are monsters!" What if she was predicting the future? Who among our survivors is close enough to breaking that they would take the man in yellow's bargain?
Oh my gosh, stop.
Who is willing to become a monster to stop being a victim?
I am going to be thinking about that all night. I am looking at everyone suspiciously next week. Babes, lock your doors. Stay spooky, stay chaotic, and we will see you on the Snark side.